welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Little Beau Pepe, and with me today to join the Foreign Legion once more is my good friend Eli Copperman. Say bonjour!
Bonjour, how are we doing? Hey, I did not study French in high school, so don't blame me.
Neither did I, monsieur. Neither did I. But just a few bits of info to get underway. So as mentioned, this is Little Beau Pepe, released on the 29th of March 1952. It had a Blue Ribbon reissue sometime in 1960. It's the 645th of the series, and it's directed by Chuck Jones. And you can find this on the Looney Tunes Superstars Pepe Le Pew DVD set, and there is a HD version lurking around, as it would have been restored in HD in the first place. Hopefully we'll get a HD upgrade soon, but yeah.
Only time will tell, my friend.
That's it. Probably a complete Pepe on Blu-ray. I don't know if that's exciting or if that could be used as a torture device, because watching these one after another is not a good thing. They're great cartoons, but yeah, watching them all in a row is,
None of those cartoons were really meant to be watched in a row, so can you blame them?
Exactly. So in case you haven't seen this one, because some of you might think that a lot of these are interchangeable, and to a point they are, but in this one, after driving the foreign legionnaires from their fort with his aroma, Pepe falls for the camp mascot, who's a beautiful-looking cat, and she's accidentally got a white stripe, again, down her back, and we get all sorts of shenanigans as we do in the Pepe short, so, yeah, so... Did I mention they were interchangeable? This one's in the Foreign Legion. It's different.
Ah, yes, the good old Foreign Legion. Now that's never been explored by any Warner Brothers cartoons before, right?
No, not at all. And at least to my first bit of trivia, and that's the title itself is a play on Little Beau Peep. You know, Little Beau Pepe, Little Beau Peep, yeah, whatever. But it's also a play on the book Beau Guest and the film adaptations and the whole Foreign Legion thing. I mean, Laurel and Hardy did one. Just about everyone did a Foreign Legion thing, and Looney Tunes did a few. You had Beau Bosco, you had Buddy of the Legion, Little Beau Porky, and Ali Baba Bound. So Porky was even in two of them, and apparently he forgot he was in the Legion or something, because he went back or something. But anyway, if you want to know more about the whole Foreign Legion thing, definitely check out one of those reviews, because I've done that quite a bit, but it is definitely a concept that's, I guess, getting more foreign these days.
Ooh.
Boo. Boo. Less stink, less skunk. But anyway, 3 other bits of trivia. So, one of my favorite gags and visual gags in this short is the whole Uncle Francois wants you. I don't know, when I saw that, because I missed it, yes, but that cracked me up a lot. And that's, of course, a parody of the whole Uncle Sam wants you army recruitment posters that you see around. But yeah, I wonder, who's this Francois? What did Francois do?
Officer Francois, what happened? Oh, wait, wrong cartoon.
Wrong cartoon, that's it. And we get a very quick gag where Pepe's dressed up like Napoleon just for like a split second, and he says, Josephine? I'm not going to go into the whole history of Napoleon, otherwise we'd be here forever. Or I guess you can watch the upcoming Ridley Scott film, I don't know, I'll take your pick.
I was going to say that they'll probably give a better explanation of, who is this Josephine?
Yes, Josephine was basically his first wife, so once Napoleon became an emperor, because that's what he basically did, yeah, that was his first wife until they ended up having the marriage annulled. So, again, I'm not going to go into it too much, but that's who Josephine is. And we get the wonderful perfume gag, which we'll discuss in a moment, but one particular shot interested me, because I'm thinking, hang on, why does it say L'amour, toujours, L'amour, right? So you got 2 bottles of L'amour and one of toujours. Don't ask me what they smell like. I'm assuming it smells nice. It is French after all. But why in that order? Because there was a song called L'amour, toujours l'amour. And the song also happens to play during that part. Carl Starling, you lovable scamp, you, playing all these wonderful puns and all that. There also was a movie released in 1952 with the same name, but it came out after this short, so it's quite clear this was referring to the song.
And this cartoon would have probably been in production before the movie. Whatever cartoons were released in 1952 in release order, they were probably made out of order, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So even at that point, yeah, it's definitely based on the song more than the movie. I don't even think that they would have known the movie existed.
Yeah, because it's a French movie, so some obscure French movie, and it barely has a presence on IMDb. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much confirmed it's from the song. And as you mentioned, look, these things are done out of order. So you got a production order and you got a release order. Sometimes certain shorts would get finished before others. Like,
Yeah.
Jones would complete, say, a Roadrunner short way quicker than he did with What's Opera Dogs, so that's probably
Oh,
one good
way
example.
quicker. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it is. But wow. So that's all the trivia. As for the short itself, I gotta say, when I'm not watching these back to back, I made a huge mistake when I bought that Pepe set. And so a lot of these blended together. So watching this one again, basically for the first time since then, and of course isolated from the other Pepes, pretty solid. I gotta say, I definitely enjoyed watching this one. It's not perfect. It's not the best Pepe, but I gotta say, I quite liked it. What did you think when rewatching this?
Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable, honestly. I think the Foreign Legion concept works pretty well with Pepe because most of the Pepe Le Pew cartoons are set in France, but they just feel like backdrops. But I thought that was a really interesting take. And what's interesting is that you can say, okay, it's the same Pepe concept as before, but I think the subtext of him, like Pepe is introduced as being heartbroken and he wants to go to the Foreign Legion to escape his broken love life, so to say.
I am the broken heart of love. I am the disillusioned. I am wished to enlist in the Foreign Legion so I may forget.
So there is a little bit of empathy set up in regards to why Pepe is interested in the cat, even though he thinks it's a skunk. Whereas most of other cartoons, Pepe just starts off as himself rather than showing a lot of like genuine emotion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And he's heartbroken. And the recruiter's like,
Bonjour. Nous filez-vous les questionnaires. Dis-moi les noms des plumes. Pepe Le Pew.
Nam and like a Pepe Le Pew, and he turns to the audience and says, "Yeah, I know."
A pitiful case, am I not?
Speaking of that recruiter, by the way, we have to definitely slow mo the recruiter freaking out over the smell.
Oh yeah.
It's such a jumble of drawings where you think, how does this work together? It's similar to a Roger Scribner sort of thing where you think, how does all this work together? And sure enough, you've seen it in motion, and it
Well,
does.
I don't know if this was animated by Ben Washam or not, but I do remember there being like, and this does have to do with Pepe Le Pew because in the cartoon Sentimental Reasons, there's that bit where Penelope, the cat, is inside a crate or whatever, and Pepe's telling him, "Come on out," and he does like a very hysterical freak out, and it's like the same type of like jumbled drawing stuff that Chuck Jones would do in his cartoons around that time. And that scene was animated by Ben Washam, at least according to Devin Baxter. Shout out.
Yes.
But again, I don't know if that was animated by Ben Washam or not, but it does showcase how Chuck really liked doing a lot of jumbled drawings and stuff. And what's interesting is I don't think this was the person who necessarily invented it or anything, but it makes me think of if you've ever seen any Fleischer cartoons in the 1930s, any cartoon or any scene in them that was animated by animator turned director David Tendlar, like he allegedly created the multiple drawing stuff, and you'll see it in some Popeye cartoons and some of the color classics he worked on. It would basically be like multiple drawings all at once, even in a few frames, to showcase how there's a whole bunch of crazy movement happened. And so, in the case of Chuck Jones, I think I'm not saying he took influence from Tenlar or anything, obviously, but I think it's interesting to look at different techniques from different studios and directors that are similar but still executed distinctively.
For sure. And I gotta say, in terms of the drawing in this one, I think I might have pinpointed, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but see, Chuck now, in terms of designs for his background characters, I don't know if you notice, a lot of the times they'll become sometimes even grotesque, like the
Yeah.
caricatures in here.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I think this is the first one because I don't recall any Chuck Jones short before this where the background characters were incredibly stylized in this grotesque type way.
I'm not even sure what the intention is to that, but I can almost imagine we recognize these characters as the leads. We're going to see them more often. And so these other characters, I'm just like, they can be designed in a more cartoonish way. It doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe it's my cartoonist mindset coming in, but I really like that Chuck was at least able to design more broad, exaggerated characters, so to say. I think he would do that more and more as this decade would go on. Chuck and probably Maurice Noble and all that would just exaggerate for the fun of it rather than focus on them entirely because they know that the audience isn't going to pay attention to them as much as Bugs or Daffy, Porky, or Pepe Le Pew for that matter.
Exactly. And here, it's incredibly stylized, incredibly grotesque, of course. And mind you, it's funny. I think they look really good. Especially when you see things like the mustache guy hitting the small guy in the chin during the march and that sort of stuff. So we still get some funny business. But if you compare Peppa Pooh comes in, it feels like that he's from a completely different cartoon universe. You got all these stylized background characters, and then you got a character that was designed in the 40s, and it's an interesting clash, I think.
Yeah.
It
Well,
works, but it
yeah,
clashes.
I think you could still buy that they're in the same universe. Just maybe one's a little more, how do I put this, well constructed than others.
Yeah, exactly. But as we see in the short, Pepe's asking,
Why have they all go? Why do they leave the fort?
well, my answer to that, of course, is because les budgets are les cut. Because budgets are going down, of course, and it's way cheaper for them to actually animate two characters as opposed to heaps. And maybe the stylization of background characters was also in an effort to keep costs down because the movements are
Yeah.
very limited and all that stuff. But anyway, that's
Remember,
what I think.
Pepe, it's not just because you stink, it's other reasons.
Exactly. Le budget. Of course. Le budget. In terms of animation, though, I do like the cat's reaction to being scratched on the back as well. Like, I was mentioning, of course, the slow-mo of the recruiter, but another slow-mo good example is the cat's reaction. It's pretty much my cat. Just about any cat.
Not to say no other director would have done this, but I think just the little detail of just the affection that the cat has from the scratch would probably not have been done in another cartoon besides the one directed by Chuck Jones.
Exactly. And it's fantastic. And of course, yeah, they're going to figure out a way to get the white stripe on Penelope's back. Yep, cool, no problem. Although I don't know if her name's Penelope in this one, but we'll just call it Penelope because that's what seems to be the name given to her later on anyway.
Nobody knew that, Marvin the Martian wasn't given that name until way after the facts.
Pepe really is taking his duty serious. He's like, you know what? Them leaving means I've got to guard the fort. And she's like, 2, 3, 4. He's marching and...
Yeah, it's interesting to see him be a little more mature.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I like some of his ridiculous quotes. One of my favorites is,
She is wished to put on her face before we continue with the wooing.
so he's got that old, very old school thing. Is, oh yeah, women just need to put their makeup on. That's all it is. That's why they're not interested in me, because they just got to get ready. Yeah, I know. But I love the delivery anyway. And of course, we get the whole shooting fish in a barrel gag. And of course, where does it take place?
Almost like shooting fish in a barrel.
And eventually we do leave the fort. I will say, I was half expecting, when she sees the oasis, I was half expecting that to be just a mirage, just a play on it. Maybe she's going to then continue running away, but no, it's actually a real oasis.
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay. I was surprised that they went for it. And of course, Pepe arrives and he just, randomly takes her into a tent that's not his. Okay. And then, of course, we slowly finish off with some wonderful perfume names. And I've already mentioned the L'amour, toujours l'amour, but the other ones that we see here I thought were absolutely hilarious. You got Parfum Saint Merci, That's, I don't get that one. If you know what that means, just let me know in the comments. Yeah, French. I'm just reading this as though I'm French, as though I actually know things. Man Trap, On Guard, and my favorite, Jet Propel. Just ridiculous. Mike Maltese, you lovable scamp.
You silly scallywag, you.
That's right. And it's kind of a weird ending. All right, so he mixes all these perfumes, and somehow the perfumes turn into an aphrodisiac because of how the cat just reacts to it. Okay. And then it backfires him, and all of a sudden he doesn't want someone being too attracted. I don't know. The ending just lost me, I think, because it's like...
It's not quite as clever as the ending of For Sentimental Reasons, but it does show I think it still gets across the hypocrisy of, I'm moving over you. Oh no, get away from me. It's like, Pepe, come on.
That's right. Come on, man. He only wants a female that doesn't want him and is hard to get, but he doesn't want someone that already... Anyway, whatever. We will open up a big can of worms if we continue with that particular discussion. And music-wise, I wanted to point out, if you listen to the title card, so we start off with a few samples of French songs, the Latin Quarter and all that, and then we hear, quote-unquote, Pepe's theme by this point. So I thought it was interesting that they just There's a little medley in the beginning instead. It's like, oh, okay, that's different. But of course, the rest of the short is to do with various French songs, including the before-mentioned L'amour toujours l'amour. And now my good friend Dave Germain wanted to add his thoughts on this short, so take it away, Dave.
In regards to the cartoon Little Beau Pepe, I do realize what Mike Maltese is doing here. He's using that trope of that men only join the French Foreign Legions because either they had just broken up with their girlfriend or could never find a girlfriend. So the only reason they join the Foreign Legions at all is because they're lonely. I get that. But just one little question though. How exactly did Pepe get his heart broken? As part of Pepe's routine is not understanding rejection in all its forms, even its most violent forms. Like in the previous cartoon Sentimental Romeo, Penelope hit Pepe on the head not once, but twice. And in the cartoon Wild About You, Pepe gets nearly mauled to death by the girl he's chasing. That doesn't stop him at all. And in Touche and Go, Penelope kicks him in the face, and in Heaven Sent, she nearly pushes him off a cliff. And he sees none of that as rejection. How exactly did this other girl break Pepe's heart? That is true. In Pepe's first cartoon, his heart was broken when he thought his, quote, girlfriend was dead. But as you saw there, he got over that pretty quickly. So how could Pepe have had his heart broken to the point that you'd have to join the Foreign Legions? What did this girl do to him? Did she drive a tank over him? Did she burn his house down? Or maybe she served him some British food, which offended his French palate, and that sent him over the edge. I don't know. Whatever she did, I'm sure Penelope would like to find this girl and say, hey, tell me what you know. Please help me out. Help a girl out.
Honestly, I think this cartoon speaks for itself, but anyone else interested, just don't watch this cartoon after a million other Pepes.
Yeah, and I don't even just say that for Pepes. I'm talking like anything, like the Hippie Hopper set. If you watch those one after another, they get dull. Yeah. Mix it up. Believe me, that's why the Golden Collections and the Platinum Collections work so well. You get a nice mixture. When it's the same thing, it's annoying. But yeah. As for a rating, look, this one gets a solid 8 out of 10. It's not going to be a go-to cartoon for me. I love the stylization of it. Some of the jokes cracked me up a lot. I enjoyed it. If it's on, hey, I'll watch it again. Because Pepe's not cancelled. I see that moronic comment everywhere, around, and easily seen. This is funny. It's just not a go-to cartoon for me.
Yeah, I would give it like a 7 out of 10, 7.5. It's enjoyable for what it is. Not the best Pepe, but definitely far from the worst.
Yeah. Exactly. I think this is one that's worth watching. But in any case, that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, au revoir.
Au revoir!
Why is it that whenever a man is captured by a woman, all he wishes to do is get away?